What is up, y'all? Glad you guys can make it. Um, it's probably gonna be a few people hopping in as the night goes on, but I just want to just thank you all just for being here. One of the poets just for being here and wanting to share, and just the viewers. Yeah, just taking some time out of your night just to be able to hop onto this first poetry night that we have. As many of you guys may know, it was Valentine's Day probably like a few days ago. So the theme of this night is gonna be about love. So yeah, I'm just glad you guys could hop on for sure. But pretty much the flow of the night is gonna be like so. Derek's gonna hop on and lead us in a time of just silence and just reflecting on God and His love for us. And then I'm gonna hop on and just share a bit of some poetry that I have. And between each poet, there's gonna be a question to ponder, and that question is just gonna be what the poet has for you to think about. Whether it's about love, whether it's about anything else, and it's just like 1 minute where you just get to really think about a question that the poet has for you. And pretty much at the end, I'm going to share one last poem for you guys just to think about. And then we're going to be just finishing it off with a prayer. And the night is pretty much going to be around like 30 minutes longish. But yeah, I just really hope you guys really enjoy it. And thank you again for hopping on.
Thank you guys just again for being here. I want to walk us through something I like to call love in silence. To start us off, to set us into the right just feeling and vibe and the tone for the night. For me, I've been learning a lot about just how like I've been rushing through my day, and a lot of times I fall into the lie of doing for God. Like I'm constantly doing stuff, and because I'm doing for God, I feel like I'm like almost like qualified to be loved by God, to be like a good Christian. But what I'm learning is being with God is so much more important than just doing for God. When you're with God is so different than when you're doing for God. When you're with God, what comes out of that is what you should do. Like focus, being with God and making that more of a priority than just doing for God. When you're in those moments, when you're just spending time, quality time with God, you learn how to do, and you have those right motives. God will speak to you more often, and you'll hear Him in times where you do slow down and you are just with Him. And one of the ways that I've learned to actually just be with God, because when you say be with God, what does that even mean? Like, right? Well, how do I just be with God? One of the ways that you could do it is just by being silent and just focusing on Him and just letting Him love you. Many of you might have never heard of this idea before of just letting God just love you, like that's actually doing it. But I want to walk you guys through that. So we're going to take a couple minutes of silence, and it might be weird. You've probably never done this before, but I want to encourage you guys to try your best. I'm going to have a 2-minute countdown just so you can see it. Try your best to just not focus on anything and let God just love you right now. Because that, like, let's just spend time in God's presence and the silence and the awkwardness in a world where there constantly has to be background music and everything, so it's not awkward, or there has to be things going on, and if you're just sitting down you have to pull out your phone and scroll through TikTok. Like, let's just be still, and you'll see that probably like 5 seconds in it's going to be really hard. You're going to start thinking about something else. You might get distracted. You might be washing dishes right now. I just want to encourage you just to be still. Sit in silence. I'm going to ask God to just overcome each and every one of you with His presence and to just love you. So I'm going to play a 2-minute countdown, and there'll just be noises, like nature noises. So close your eyes. I encourage you to close your eyes. Take some deep breaths as you're doing it. And as your mind wanders, bring it back. Just bring it back. It's so important that we spend time with God. And again, many of you guys have never done this before, but this is what empowers you to do for God. So I want to encourage you to not just do this one time, but try to make it a routine in your morning and night, just for 2 minutes, spending in silence, not trying to do anything for God, and just be with Him. So here, I'm going to share the screen. We're going to have 2 minutes of silence to just start our night.
So my poem is called True Love, and it's pretty much like a testimony, almost about the love that God had for me and just love in general, but I'll get into it. Before I came to Christ, it felt like my heart was homeless, constantly begging for a secure place instead. But through a leap of faith, God took it and cared for it, and at times it can be hard to explain. But I soon realized that God doesn't just show love, He is love. And our heart's home isn't found anywhere else but in Him. And because this world doesn't seek His love, He brought His love down to dwell among man and their strife. And His love was shown when He laid down His life so that we may have life. And I pray that this world can accept God's love with faith and not feel like their life is vanity. Because even after this world is gone, God's love will still remain for eternity. And that was my little short poem. And now we're just gonna just queue up a little question that I have for you guys just to ponder. So our next poet is from Texas, yes sir. And she writes in hopes that no one will ever feel alone. So everyone welcome Christina Lyles.
Hello. This poem was just from a place when I had very low self-esteem. Um, and I believe that the Lord had me write it for me to see from the perspectives of other people and even just the word of God as well. So it's called What is Self-Love? What is self-love? What is love self? Love myself? You must be joking, right? I put myself on a shelf. I'm my own book. I'm my own crook. I rip the pages out because I hate what I read on the inside. That's just my pride, I guess. My heart is two in a one person body, but I see things that no one else sees. Oh my gosh, you're so pretty. Dang, Ma, you fine. I can't see those for myself. Am I the hypocritical blind serpent of my own thoughts? But the serpent is what made Adam and Eve kicked out of the Garden of Eden. I am Eden, something beautiful, but wait, I am also the serpent. Eve, how could you believe such lies that you were unworthy? But when I look, I am Eve, feeding lies to myself. How can I be such a serpent, a negative disease, you snake? You disgust me. I disgust me. I cast you out of my garden. Get away then. Then will I believe my worth. I am a beautiful flower, a garden of beauty. God chose me. Such light, brighter than the sun's projections, a beautiful imperfection. Scars that make me, but don't affect, each one with a story. I am self. I love myself. Self-love? Take time to love me. My mind escapes the negative prison I put myself in and go outside into God's arms of such gorgeousness. I express my essence of a beautiful Garden of Eden. I guard myself, a delicate flower with petals of swords. No one will cut the cords that charge my positivity, that I love myself. For you will be electrocuted by my confidence. Back away, snake. Go away, Eve. For I am a self-loved breed. I am a Garden of Eden.
Wow, wow. That was amazing. Oh my goodness. After that, for sure. No, that was amazing. Wow. And this is Christina's question to ponder after that amazing poem. All right, y'all. So you guys just heard the amazing Christina just perform her poem. But our next poet has been doing poetry for a whole 7 years. 7 years. That's crazy. And she absolutely loves candy corn. Everyone welcome Elana West-Smith.
Hello, guys and girls. That was so beautiful. Like, both of those poems just made me like, I'm on camera, so I'm not gonna like react how I would usually. But yeah, my name's Elana, and I am just honored to even be in this like space. I'm glad that everyone's here, and I'm just thankful. One thing that I've learned about love is that it can't be contained. Like, just the feeling of it is just really overwhelming. Like, when we're sad, we can cry. When we're angry, we can hit stuff. But like, love is just something that can't be explained. And like, God's love for me has been like, I don't know, the best thing. But yeah, I'm gonna get right into it. This first one is called Love is an Art. LOVE, ... Listen, I could complain about love, but love is what brought peace to the world in ancient times. If suddenly you are searching for me, I'm sorry. I was music, but then perhaps the saddest of all, my love began to decipher your name. A name that is yours and mine, the invincible love, a leaf from the tree of life that gave out flowers and fruits. But in the depths of the sea, you were afraid of my voice. You pinned my heart, you were afraid of my voice. Oh, sorry. And you pierced my back, but I stand up. Thank you. And the next one is a really short one. It's called I Write to You. I never knew the poems that I wrote about love would be about ours ending. Remember when the waves carried us to the same place? And last but not least, this one's called Shea Butter Baby. I love this one because I was up at night and I was just, thinking about how I was as a little girl. I was lost, and I honestly just, I don't know. I wish that anyways, I wrote this as if I were that little girl. And I just know that there are a lot of people and we have a lot of questions about love, but definitely as a little girl, I wish I would have heard this. So, sweet little girl, crawl back into your skin. Wrap your arms around yourself and understand that love comes from within. I know it's overwhelming, but sweet little Black girl, this world is full of things that will try to strip you away from your identity. Your melanin skin is golden, and on those hard nights, squeeze yourself tighter. Cry out the pain you're holding on to. And remember, there's beauty in this moment too. Thank you.
Yes, sir. That was really good. I really liked how all those three poems were just like unique in their own way, talking about love. Hope you guys like that. The amazing Elana West-Smith. And this is her question to ponder. All right, this is gonna be my last poem. And before I even start, I'm gonna intentionally speak this, like say the words of this poem very slowly, just because of the fact that like I recently just wrote this and it's called Love Never Fails. So I'm gonna speak it slowly, just listen to every word. All right, love never fails. Before you even knew what the word love was and tried to navigate your feelings to determine if you had found it, love had already created this whole world and planned to place you in it. Before your heart was broken by the person you thought was the one, the one that created you intentionally sent his son down to die so he could express his love himself. That through receiving him and trusting in his death and resurrection, you could see that love never dies. So seek true love. God is love. Love is eternal. Love never fails.
That was great. For you guys, like all of you guys have been so good. I've never like really gone to any like poetry club or anything like that. This is all inspired by Manny, and this makes me want to get into poetry. Like
Yes.
one of these days, I'm gonna sign up for one of these poetry nights and share something.
Yeah.
You guys are
Yes.
definitely inspiring. But everyone, thank you for being here. Thank you to all the poets for just giving your heart out to us on a Saturday night. So I appreciate it. A couple things before we go. I want to tell you guys about our Discord. You can go and follow every single one of our poets by going to our Discord. You can check it. This is what our Discord looks like right here. If you scroll down to Poetry Club, you can see all of our poets' Instagram pages, and you can just go and follow them. Please make sure to do that. Also, make sure to, this is all inspired by Childlike Manny. Make sure to go follow him on all Instagram, TikTok. You can find me at This Is Church. But everything is on Discord. We do game night. We're going to do game nights, potentially more of these poetry nights. We do meme contests, prayers, and it's just a bunch of things. We want to be a place where I know Sunday is not enough church community for us. So having a place that's 24/7. Which could be the Discord. So make sure to join it. But other than that, Manny's going to pray us out. And that was it. Thank you guys so much for being here.
All right. I'll close it out in prayer, guys. And thank you guys all for coming. All right. Heavenly Father, I just want to just thank you so much for just today, for this night. Father, I want to just thank you so much for everybody else able to hop on and listen to just the amazing poetry. I thank you for all the poets that were able just to share their hearts, and just hearing even just their hearts and just what they think about love, and everything that you put in their heart has just been just inspiring to me, even as an artist, as a creative, as a poet, even in myself. And I want to just thank you for just the gifts that you've given all of us, even individually. I want to thank you for everybody that was able to hop on. And yeah, Father, I just pray that hopefully we can have more of these poetry nights, and that we can have more people able to even share their hearts and be able to help other people. I know that all of us were able to be touched by what we heard tonight. And I want to thank you for Deryck and just his leadership and just planning and just everything that he does, Father, and just even his little message that he had on the YouVersion app for today. And I even thank you just for that. And I really pray that you continue to bless him and everything. I pray for everybody that's here as well. Again, thank you for this amazing night. And I pray that your name was glorified, Father. And in Jesus' my prayer. Amen.